Today I'm cleaning my Commodore 64. It has never been cleaned inside, so there's probably about 30 years worth of dust and dirt and grime and food scraps and skin flakes and hair and who knows what else that's disgusting that's germinating under these keys. So let's open it up and give it a clean. Okay, this is my first time doing this, but I've watched some videos and looked up some information on this, so I think I'm reasonably confident in what I'm doing. Okay, so now there's two Phillips head screws under there, so let's release them, and then there's a latch there that I have to be careful not to break. Apparently it's easy to snap that. So let's take out these screws. That came out easy. I'm going to need to organize which screws are which, otherwise I will get them confused. Okay, so that's those screws for now. I'll get something for them. Now, how do I get this off? Aha, that came off, coming off pretty easy there. On that side it is. Oh, why is she coming off? Oh, there's another screw in the middle where the label, where the seal is. That's why it wasn't coming off. So let me get that one out too. And then that front should come off. Okay, got that one out. Let's see if we can get this off. Yep, that comes off easy. Now I've got to be careful of the little... Oh, no, that's what I'm careful of. That it doesn't snap. Got it. And it didn't snap. That's good. And okay, so here's the inside. Ooh, look at that. That's the cardboard. That's made of cardboard, isn't it? Yeah, that's cardboard, and that is an RF shield that I think I don't need, but I think I'll keep it in there for now until later. I'm pretty sure I don't need this because this was put in. A lot of microcomputers had things like this in the 70s and 80s because the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, yeah, I think that's him. It was still early days of microcomputers, and they were a bit unsure how the radio frequencies from this would affect your neighbor's television, and I guess they were afraid that your neighbors would be watching Happy Days and suddenly it would be cut in by Wizard of War. But in reality that wasn't going to happen. The radio frequency signal is nowhere near strong enough for that to happen, so it was completely unnecessary for Commodore and other companies to put in these no, it's not a heat shield. It's made of cardboard. It actually increases the heat and makes the computer beneath run hotter, but yeah, it was unnecessary for them to put in this to block signals. Anyway, I'll probably remove that later, but that's for another time. For now, it's a bit dirty. For now, let's remove this. This here is the LED that shows you when the computer is on. How do I get that out there? I'll think about that in a second. Okay, let's unplug it from the motherboard. I got it. That was easy to pull out. So let's put that aside and put you back in. So actually the case is pretty clean. This has been inside the house for ever since we got it in the 80s. I think it went under the house for a brief time until during the 90s, yeah, when PCs were the PC was my main computer, and the PC replaced this as my computer for schoolwork and fun and everything else. But then I had the sense to bring it back inside, thinking that maybe one day I'd still want it. So it's actually pretty clean in here. It doesn't really need much of a clean. Definitely a lot of dust in here, and this keyboard will be disgusting, I'm sure. Oh yeah, down the front there, it's pretty gross. In fact, I'll just show you the dirt. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there's a little bit of dirt in there, but it's actually, and dust bunnies, but it's actually not too bad. Yeah, there's some dust bunnies in there, but that's not too bad. It's actually cleaner than I thought it would be. Okay, I'm just making some notes. Got some little notepads to put the screws on so I don't forget which is which. Okay, so the next thing to do is this keyboard unit needs to come off. It's connected to the motherboard underneath. There's the cord for it there, and that's where I think most of the gross dust will be, under these keys. So I'm gonna have to take off all these keys and give them a wash and clean down the black case under the black, where the pegs are underneath it. Oh, and the springs under each of these keys. I think the spacebar key has a different spring, so I have to keep that separate. I think that's right. I'll find out. And yeah, so one step at a time, let's unplug this and take this off. Okay, so there's two screws, one there, one there. Okay, let's get them off. They look a little bit rusty. Maybe I should replace them later. I won't do that now, but it might be worth doing later. Oh, there's some hair in there. Not human hair. I think that's, probably can't see it from there, but I think that's cat hair. My late cat Licorice probably jumped aboard this, as cats do. There's two screws here. Yep, that's definitely Licorice's hairs. Okay, is that the only two? Yeah, it looks like it's the only two, and the keyboard unit is wedged in under there. These little things here, ramps. Look at all the dust in there. Ew. This is going to be nice and new. Okay, so I think that's it. Just push it back. Is there any more screws? Can't see any more, but there's quite a bit of resistance. Oh, it's coming off there. Oh, got it. Ugh, that's disgusting. Okay, and there it's connected to the motherboard there. So let's. Can we get this off? Oh yeah, that comes off pretty easy. Let's pull it from the side. Yep, that's the keyboard off. This, just some dust bunnies, but it's not as bad as I thought it'd be. Oh, there's some food, piece of food there. Yeah, you can see it there. Some more dust bunnies and food. Gonna wash my hands after this thoroughly. Let's put that aside for now. This is the RF shield. I think that can just be pulled. Is that right? Let's see, if I break it, doesn't really matter because it's useless anyway. Okay, yeah, that was easy to come off. Ooh. Okay, a bit of dust. Much better than I thought it would be. Yep, that'll be easy to clean. Okay, but I'm going to take this motherboard out of here either way, because I want to clean the whole case, give that a wash, and scrub down this motherboard. Okay, but yeah, looks good. Yep. Okay, so I need to take off these screws here. 1, 2. Is that it? 1, 2. I'll take off these bits here first. Okay. These little metal bits. Okay. You come out easy. Just leave that screw in there. I can remember where it goes. And then this one here goes on the left, and this one's on the right. Okay. Do I want to keep this cardboard shield? Everywhere I'm seeing says that it's completely useless. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it for now, but I need to think about that. I might come back to this. Okay. Okay, yeah. I need to get the board off here. Okay, so let's do that. There's one here down the bottom. And how many down here? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's take these out, and then I should be able to get the motherboard out. last one here. Okay. Well, that should come out now. Yep. Here is the Commodore 64 motherboard. Ooh, there's a lot of dust bunnies in there. Gross. Okay. I really don't see what the value of this is, other than just heating up the Commodore. Ugh. Okay, first things first, let's clean the cases, both parts of that. Take them outside and give them a wash, and then I'll use some Windex and maybe some alcohol on them, IPA. And then we'll do the motherboard, wipe that down with some alcohol. Yeah, and then I'll come back to the keyboard, the last bit, and then I'll put it back together. And then I'll make a decision if I'm going to keep this RF shield, which I'm leaning towards no, because why bother? Get all the dirt out of those grooves. Okay, next I'll just use some Windex, and just to give the case a bit of a wipe. It's pretty good after that. It got all the little bits of dust and dirt out of the grooves there. This might need some little brushes for the corners, but otherwise I'm happy with that. There's some stains there. I don't know what that's from, if it's from something that was spilt on that. I'll try something harder than this in a second. It has yellowed a bit, but you know, that happens to a lot of plastic from then because of the chemical they put in it to make it tougher, and have the effect of yellowing it when it was exposed to sunlight. I think that's right. Yeah, anyway, that happens to a lot of old plastic with toys and yeah, particularly computers. The keys on the keyboard are really yellow, you can see. There's no way of fixing that except via retrobrighting them, but I'm definitely not going to do that now. Maybe later, but not now. Okay, yeah, that's fine. There's a few little rough marks there. Maybe I can use some IPA, some isopropyl alcohol. Let's give that a try and see if those little scuff marks come off. Let's try that. Will my elbow grease do it? No. It has a peculiar smell, doesn't it? Oh yeah, that's actually working. It's taking those little scuff marks, whatever they are, off. That's cool. This stuff, oh wait, this stuff is mating. Let's see if it works there. I think I have to avoid putting this on the keys because I've heard this might take the paint that is the letters off the keys, so I'll just use soap and water for them. It's working, but very slowly. It does make it look better. Let's try a bit there. Some sort of brown stain. Near the front of the foot. Let's try this. Will that work? I'm just going to spray it on it. A little bit. It sort of works actually, yeah. But not entirely. I think it's just yellowed probably from the reason I said before. I'm not sure. It's not dirty anyway. It's just stained. So I think that's okay. Let's give a little bit of a spray with this. This stuff dries pretty quickly. Yeah, this is pretty clean. Even with some little corners, it's still pretty clean. Yep, that's good. Leave it in there. Yep. Okay, cool. That's good. Now we can get to the tough stuff. The corners are a teensy little bit dirty, so this is where I'll use a brush, a little tiny brush, and just get in there where my fingers can't reach. Yep, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And this one, yep. Okay, good. Super clean. Yeah, I'll just give this a vacuum clean briefly to get some of the loose dust and whatever else is there. So that it's got a lot of the dust bunnies off, and it's a bit dirty over here, so I'm going to use some isopropyl alcohol to just wash the board over. That's 8580. There is 8580. That's the SID chip, the music chip. It makes the Commodore's quite distinctive music and it's really quite distinctive sound that I've always loved. This is the revision they did, I think, for the 64C, which is the original bread bin Commodore had a slightly different music chip. That some people who started with that one don't like this one, but I still think this one sounds fantastic. Okay, okay, let's do this. Let's get some isopropyl alcohol and get off these little bits of grime, and then I'll dry this. So just these bits of dust that are just sticking in here. Let's make this nice and clean. You know, when I was in high school, this is 100% alcohol, right? And there was a science class, and the teacher brings out this to use for something, and some kids said, "Oh, cool, alcohol, can I drink it?" And the teacher said, "Sure, if you want to die, because, you know, your liver can't handle 100% alcohol. You can handle 5% or maybe even 20%, 25%, but not 100%. You may get drunk, I don't know, but you'll also die. Well, your liver will die and then you'll die, so don't do that." But for cleaning circuitry, it's great. Get all the dust and the bacteria. It looks like it's dried already, but I'll just give it a bit of a blow with a hairdryer just to make sure. So that looks good, the motherboard. Now let's get the part that's really going to be the dirtiest, the keyboard. Okay, now you can see under here, there's the circuitry for the keyboard under this brown plastic, and the only way to get into that, I think, is to clip these little metal wires, and there's one here, yeah, and to resolder it. I don't know where my soldering iron's gone, or I lost it, maybe, or it's broken. I don't know, it doesn't matter, I'm not going to do that. That part can be done another time. For now, I want to get these keys off and clean the keys, because they're a bit dirty, and they're definitely dirty underneath with all the 30 years of stuff. Yeah, and then clean the board, and that'll be good for today, and then we'll come back to underneath another time. So let's get these keys off. I'll need a key puller. Okay, I've got a key puller that I use for my modern mechanical keyboard, so this should work on these. I have to be careful because it is a few decades old and I don't want to break the keys or the plugs, but let's give it a go. Getting all the keys off, the keys with this keyboard puller. got some of them off already, and yep, got one box here for keys and one for springs. I think the springs are all the same except for the spacebar one. Anyway, I'll just go through these. Ugh, some of these ones a bit tight. Just being careful because I don't want to break the plug underneath. Lastly, the spacebar key, which, okay, that came off easy, and yeah, you can see the spacebar spring is a bit taller. Okay, so I'll put that aside and stay there. Okay, now here's the keyboard, and yeah, it's pretty dirty. There's lots of dust, and it's not as dirty as I thought it would be. There's that looks like a bit of food particle, but not as much food and other gross things as I thought there would be for something that we ate around a lot when we were kids, me and friends at sleepovers. Spacebar has gone a bit rusty actually on the bar there. Probably should fix that at some point, but that's not a big deal now. I'll just give it and the other keys a wash. But yeah, that's something I'll have to fix later. So let's wipe this crap off with some Windex just to get all these gross piles of dust. Look at that big dust bunny. It's huge. Okay, so it should feel easier to type on this now, sort of. Commodore was never really the best keyboard to type on. IBM Model M keyboard, that's a good keyboard to type on. But the Commodore 64 keyboard was it was okay. Anyway, I'll get all this. It's coming down here. I need some more paper. I'll get all this dust and whatever else is here off, and that'll be nice and clean. Next, I'm going to use a little bit of Windex on an old toothbrush just to get in between those pegs. It's quite hard to get to. And I'll wipe this down again with a paper towel. It's just hard to get in between the base of them because it's quite cruddy around there. Spread this around, get that off there and in here. Yeah, it's going to be nice and clean. To pull the blind down because the sun's making the room pretty glary. Okay, so it's hard to see, but this looks nice and clean now. Just going to dry this off now, and that should be good, I think. Wow, there's all that crud and all that dust is gone. I'll clean around the sides too now, but that's pretty good. That's nice and shiny in there. Look at that, look how shiny that is. Okay, that needs cleaning down here. It's still got dust down here. But yeah, that's good. I'm happy with that. That's amazing how much was under there. So lastly, I'll use a little bit of IPA on this thicker brush. I'll just give it a wipe over with that too. Okay. And I'll pat that down dry. Yep, it's already dried. That's how fast it dries. Okay, that's great. What next? Next, I need to wash the keys and the springs. So I'll wash these just in water, maybe with a bit of detergent. Yeah, and these, some dust in there. Gross. These can, I'll just put some IPA into there and give them a little alcohol bath, and then I'll dry them down. So here's all the keys, they've been washed. There's still a little bit of a scum slightly on the top, maybe from the dust that had been there for a long time. I'll clean that with a toothbrush and some water and just some liquid soap. I don't want anything too abrasive on these, but otherwise that seems fine. It's interesting to see how it's yellowed over the years. You can see that one is all yellow on the top where it's been exposed to sun, but it's white, creamy beige underneath that. That's that chemical they used on a lot of plastic at the time. There's nothing I can do about that except maybe retrobriting them, but that's not something to do now. Anyway, let's get some soap and get to cleaning the tops, and then I'll do the springs. So the keys are dry now and nice and clean. Okay, next is the springs. They are not clean, so I'm going to give them a little bath in isopropyl alcohol. There's a bit of dust, I'll take that out. Ew. And just fill up this container with some of this. Yeah, it'll be a lot easier if I just took this off. And I'll just let that soak for a few minutes, and then that'll dry fast anyway, and then I'll take them off and just brush them down. And yeah, so that's the springs here, so that's good. That water looks gross. Alcohol, yeah, it's not water. Okay, just pull them apart. They're dry already. That's amazing how fast that IPA evaporates. Okay, so now we put them back on here and we put these back on there. So I just put the springs one back on one, and then I'll put the keys on. So here's all the keys back on. So now I need to do everything in reverse. It's all clean now, except for the part under here. I will do that later on when I have a soldering iron again. I need to get one soon. Okay, so let's get the case. I really think I'm not going to put this RF shield on that I haven't bothered even cleaning, because I don't think I'm going to use it, because the collective wisdom of the internet tells me that it's kind of useless. So I don't think I'll bother. Let's see if I remember what to do in reverse. Okay, so that's in the right spot. this down. Okay, so everything needs to line up here. All the little bits in the holes. Alright, they've got to be pushed through. Okay, that gets pushed through there. Yeah, that looks much cleaner without the cardboard shield. It's disgusting and useless. Yeah, I can just screw that back in. Okay. Keyboard, motherboard. Motherboard goes first. Let's get the screwdriver. Where did I put the screwdriver? There's the screwdriver. Okay, so let's 1, 2, 3, 4, isn't it? It's 4. Yeah, 4, and those little brackets go there. And there's the holes to line up with. Yep, that'll work. Cool. It looks much cleaner now. And then there's these brackets, which I really should give them a clean actually. I don't think they've still got dust on them. I'll just get some IPA and paper towel and give that a clean. Yeah, it's just a bit of metal. Just get all the dust off, otherwise it's fine. Look at that. Oh, there's the screw. There's a lot of holes for screws in them, but I only had one screw. So I think that was, yeah, I think that was there, wasn't it? Yeah, that lines up. Normally that would hold the shield, but I'm not going to have the shield, so that's okay. Does that go in? Yep. Okay. And the last one is here. Let's give that a bit of a wash too. Okay, I've worked it out. This one goes back in this one here. For some reason, just sits there. Just sits there and covers up that first control port. Okay, well, that'll screw the case back in. Okay, that's fine. So the motherboard is back in, so now I need to put the keyboard, clip it in right there. Is it the right way? Yes, that's the right way. Bit of dust there, just must have missed that before. Okay. So I need to clip it back on. Yep, just fits in snugly. Just check that's on. Yep, that's good. Okay, now the keyboard, that's the wires for that. Where does the keyboard go? There was some screws for that, right there. Where does it sit? Ah, it goes under here, yeah. There's these little ramps. And then that's why I've got these metal things here. Not only are they meant to hold the RF shield that would go there, but they also have a place to screw the keyboard in. Okay, so there's my 2 screws for that. So let's do that. There's one last thing to do before I put the top back on, and that's to connect this LED here on the motherboard, and that goes into, there's a little slot here, so let's put it that way, and that shows that the power's on, so let's put that in. Oh, it's tight. How do you fit in? Yeah, that's right. Okay. And put this back on. Oh, that looks so much better. Oh yeah, that's right. There's a little latch at the back. But I'll get that behind there to get it clipped to the back. It's tricky. Yeah, well, that's right. No, didn't snap break. That's good. Just snapped on. And lastly, oh, did I miss? I'm so smart. I missed. I just opened it back up because I realised I missed. I missed one of the screws on the motherboard. This one here in the corner. That was silly. Yeah, the one in the very far corner. On the right. Okay. Ugh. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, that's everything. I just need the. Is that him? Just two there. So snap to the back. Snap it on. That's in there. Yeah. Now I need to. Wow, that's all done. It looks nice and clean. Wow, that's all done. That looks good. It doesn't feel dirty to touch anymore. Okay, I'll screw this in here. Cool. And this one. I'm not sure what I'll do with that RF shielding. I guess I should probably throw it away, but maybe someone will tell me that I really need it. I'll keep it for now. Yeah, there's still those stains there. Not sure how to get rid of that, but I don't think it's from, and it's clean now. There's a bit of a stain there. Could scrub it that harder. Same there, but it's clean now. Yep. So yeah, that's done. Let's just plug it in and test it to see if it works and I didn't break it. That would be not fun. Okay, let's see if it works and I didn't destroy my Commodore. No, I didn't. It still works. There's the power light. So I'm using a 10-inch TV I got off Facebook Marketplace. I would like a actual Commodore monitor, but they're a little bit too pricey for me for the moment, so that can come later. But that would be good because they'd give me a better picture. This is pretty hard to read text on this one. Some of the text, like on GEOS, it's really not great to read. So an actual proper monitor would be good. I'm using a new power supply, and I got that online. It's from Poland. I've heard that using old power supplies can be a bit of a ticking time bomb. It can fry your actual Commodore, and I'd rather not do that. So that's been a good investment. Okay, so I'll just tune it and we'll see if it's good. Okay, it's good. I did not destroy my Commodore by cleaning it. In fact, it should be running better now. This is a weird version of Pac-Man. Okay, I'll look at that later. Okay, well, thanks for watching. If you want to do that to your Commodore, I hope you found it useful. It was really easy to do. Just follow the steps I did, and you'll be fine. And now mine's nice and clean. Yeah, so if you like video games, if you like technology, if you like learning things like I learned how to do this just now, then please subscribe. And now I'm going to play Last Ninja 2, which is probably harder than I remember. Last time I was in Central Park, there wasn't ninjas there. See you next time. Sorry, I'm just distracted by the music. This is an example of the Commodore's great music. Okay, see you next time. Bye.